All the promises captured in scripture. The one that strikes a chord with my spirit in the season that we have come into is a promise of the manifestation of the ultimate generation. Now, before this generation will come to pass, that ultimate generation in a prototype fashion in the Old Testament is the day that Samuel pioneered. Before that day came, the tokens of God were stolen. The heritage of God was being lost in the land of the people of God. It was easier to be afraid than to be in faith. The very things that formed the basis of their unity and nationhood were threatened. But in the very crucible where the sovereignty of God was at work, there was problem with childbearing. The womb that God wanted to use was closed, and it was as if delay had set in. So much so that the spirit of them that hoped at a point was put in despair because of the impossibilities that surrounded that which God wanted to do. There are many things you are used to today that is no longer relevant. We all will have to go to a school of the spirit again. There was delay with childbearing. The devil had advanced in his agenda, and it came to a point where there was no more hope. Then a barren woman took an oath, and suddenly the powers of heaven began to set into the circumstance, and a barren woman's womb was opened in that season. There are several people that God has made barren. You have been faithful, working with God consistently, but it's as if you have been abandoned. You prayed, you prophesied, nothing changed in the environment. In the day of God, the wombs that He closed, He opens them. And when He opens those wombs, He performs much more than the devil can ever imagine to perform in a short period of time. Because it's not a function of man, it is the day of God. When Anna's understanding was enlightened, the only way she could receive ventilation was to turn her face towards the Lord in prayer. As we glean the articles of her prayer, we find out the message that came from her spirit. 1 Samuel chapter 2. And Anna prayed and said, "My heart rejoiceth in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation." Suddenly, her prayer shifted from a prayer of exaltation. She was now vocalizing the revelations of God that she had captured. At what time did she capture these revelations? During the time of her barrenness. See, there was a build-up during the time of that barrenness that was going on. And then when the time of her visitation came, her understanding became fruitful. So this is an experiential revelation that she is now communicating. That type, you cannot receive it by inspiration. See, when you are going through process, what happens is that your understanding is unfruitful. You don't know the science that is at work. You don't even know its application. How do I apply this mystery? You are kept in that state so that your heart can be tested. Because God will not build with a stone that He has not tried. When she said there is no rock like our God, she had sinned because barrenness had no cure in her village. But she focused and got into a pact with God. And that which looked permanent shifted. Then she knew something about God that she only knew in Bible study. She had experienced it live. And she knew that kingdoms will fall. Kings will fall. Seasons will change. Nations will fall. There is a rock that is not like any other rock. He is in His own class, separated unto His own name. It is that description of God as being different from any other thing that is called holiness. There is no rock like our God. And this kind of revelation did not come in a church service. It came through process. That was the concoction, the kind of incense that she was listening. Her prayers were full of God and empty of self. Because she had seen the foretaste of a day where God is king, a day where God is the only one standing. That's why Isaiah said, "The cedars of Lebanon, the proud heights shall be reduced. The oaks of Bashan, the mighty winds will be cut off. The mountain behind the enclave will be subdued, and the valleys will be elevated." The reason for the renovation is that the king is going to march in the borders of her city. So every stone must be gathered out. Every undulating plain must be instructed. Because only one must be seen in the procession. And only one's voice must be heard. He doesn't need to stand. Because every realm is renovated by His decree. Once has the Lord spoken. Twice have I heard. That is not an echo. In that day, everything that doesn't have its foundation in God will be shifted and shaken. That's why wisdom demands that you stand your ground even though the seasons are contrary. A day will come when he will speak. It's the realm of a voice. And in the day in which we live, we will see the potency of that voice much more. I'd like us to cry. Cry to him. Make out of us Puritans, men that function with godly fear. Ibasabela.